The Achilles tear in sports is one of the worst injuries an athlete can have. It is so bad that 2 out of every 5 players who do tear their Achilles retire from the NBA right after their Achilles tear. What makes it worse is that typically Achilles injuries happen after the age of 30. So by the time you make your recovery, you are also going to have to be facing the difficulties of aging. Achilles injuries are a big problem in the NBA, so I may present to you every major Achilles injury in the modern NBA or footage that just isn't crappy. These aren't Achilles injuries from random role players, these are some of the most major Achilles injuries. But it all starts on February 6th, 2012.
In the fourth quarter, Chauncey Billups with the up fake. Can't get the three to drop, and then going for the offensive rebound, he crumples to the court. Appears to come down awkwardly, holding his Achilles. See it from behind now as he goes for that loose ball.
Chauncey Billups was a 36-year-old, and he had already dealt with injuries the seasons prior. He was only averaging 8-2-2 on 40% from the field, so it was safe to say his career was quickly going downhill, because in his career, he was a multiple-time All-Star. The season after his Achilles tear, he averaged only 3.8 points per game. It wasn't as terrible for him as most people in this video, because it's not like he was in the middle of his prime at the age of 28 or 29. He was 36, so he was pretty much already near the end of his career, but he only shot 30% from the field after his injury. He will retire this season after his Achilles tear. The next occurrence of a ruptured Achilles will be roughly 3 years later, on January 24th, 2015.
For Detroit, the Bucks have 13. Both teams have given up 15 points off the turns. Jennings is hurt on 4. Henson at the basket for a jam, and Jennings is writhing in pain, rolling in pain on the other end, and now play is stopped. I mean, he was flopping all over the place. He is really in pain, and this would indicate, at least by his reaction, perhaps more than a sprained ankle.
A push, not much.
Oh,
and we see.
You see that left ankle flex incredibly. Here's another look.
Brandon Jennings was a young rising star. At the age of 22 years old, he was averaging 19 points per game and 2 steals. The season before his injury, he averaged 15 and 8. He was a young star. He was nearly an all-star talent. He could give you 20 points on any given night. He was absolutely incredible. But then his Achilles tear happened. His game plummeted. He averaged 6 points and 2 rebounds on 37% from the field the next season. He kept on getting worse until he averaged 3.5 points on the Washington Wizards on 27% from the field. After his Achilles tear, he didn't stay on one team for more than 1 season. His last season in the NBA was the 2017-2018 NBA season. He got released early, so he went to play overseas in China. He was super dominant there. He averaged 28 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals. Then he went over and played in the EuroLeague the next season. He averaged 9, 4, and 7 there, but he never played professional basketball since, and it is likely Brandon Jennings will never make his return to the NBA. And now, we go to March 5th, 2015.
Like a wet spot on the floor, and you can see Matthews hits the deck, holding his ankle.
Wesley Matthews was in his prime. He was 28 years old. He averaged 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists while being good on defense. He was a sniper from 3-point range. He shot 39% from behind the arc, and fun fact, in the 2010s, Wesley Matthews made the most corner threes in the NBA. He was good, but his Achilles tear didn't affect him right off the bat. He still played 60 games the next season while averaging a solid 12.5 points. But his numbers after a while kept on getting worse and worse. In the 2018-2019 season, Matthews only played 2 games on the New York Knicks, and in those games, he was terrible. He was playing 27 minutes and averaged 7 points on 21% from the field and 20% from 3. But to be fair, he did make a comeback with that same season on the Indiana Pacers, where he averaged 11, 3, and 2. And now he is 34 years old and he's averaging 5, 1, and 1 on the Los Angeles Lakers. He is doing it pretty inefficiently, only shooting 39.7% from the field. But I am so happy for Wesley Matthews that he didn't retire right away like most players. And now we go on to possibly the saddest one on this list. On April 12th, 2013, Kobe Bryant was not in for a good surprise.
And again, going to work, falls down. Again, he's struggling. He's going to stay down there for a bit.
Time to massage that left ankle a little bit.
This season when Kobe Bryant tore his Achilles, he averaged a monster 27.3 points per game, 5.6 rebounds per game, and 6 assists per game. He was also incredibly defensively. But after his Achilles tear, he made a massive decline on his points. He averaged 13.8 points. He went from averaging 27 points to 14 points. But because of this, since he wasn't as dominant with the ball, he learned how to become a really good playmaker. So he did average 6.3 assists a game that season. But he only played 6 games, and the Achilles injury was his career-ending injury. Because the next season, despite him playing really well, he only shot 37% from the field and 29% from 3. He also played only 35 games that season. The year after that, he was no longer an All-Star. He did make the All-Star team, but that's because fans wanted to honor him because it was his last season. He did not play at an All-Star level that season. He shot 36% from the field and 28% from 3. He was no longer the same player he was. Kobe Bryant was inefficient, he wasn't good at defense anymore, and he only averaged 17 points per game, which for the average NBA player is incredible, but for Kobe, that was very underwhelming. And now we skip to about 4 years later, on February 3rd, 2017.
And they turn it over, and here comes Indiana. 17 seconds, plenty of time. George right at Temple. Rudy Gay still has not gotten up. Temple was his second. Rudy just lost his balance there, Jerry.
Before Rudy Gay's Achilles rupture, he was an absolute beast. He would give you 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, to go along with 2 steals and a block in 25 minutes. He deserves to be a Hall of Famer. The season before his injury, he averaged 19, 6, and 3 and 1.5 steals with 0.9 blocks. And Rudy Gay's injury may be the worst in this entire video. If you look at the injury video and you pause it right here, you can see how terrible his Achilles injury was. He overstretched it, which is a very scary sight to see. After this injury, he would never be the same player. I mean, obviously, look at that. He is still a good player, averaging 11, 5, and 2 as a 34-year-old, but not the same All-Star caliber player. In 2 seasons after his Achilles tear, he averaged 14, 6, and 3 with 1 steal and half a block, so that's pretty good. Now we move on to the 2017-2018 NBA season, specifically on January 26th, 2018.
Cousins misses. Oh, almost got his own rebound.
Big thing right now is just...
And he just got hurt. DeMarcus Cousins is injured at the other end. Fouled, meanwhile, by Davis in the area of his Achilles.
When he missed the foul shot, he went down in there and was able to go up in the air and hit the ball.
And he's going to be assisted.
I don't care what anyone says. DeMarcus Cousins is a first ballot Hall of Famer. In his best season, he averaged 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. He also averaged an absurd 1.4 steals and 1.3 blocks, which are easily MVP and Defensive Player of the Year numbers. In the season of his Achilles injury, but a bit before that, he averaged an also insane 25, 13, and 5 to go along with 2 steals and 2 blocks. I mean, he was absurd. And he once shot 38% from 3. That's just crazy. But unfortunately, his Achilles injury majorly affected him. The next season, he only averaged 16 points. It was obvious his game declined, and now he is playing the worst basketball of his career. He is averaging 9 points and 7 rebounds on the Houston Rockets, being a sidekick, a third option, maybe not even a third option, a fourth option. What I'm trying to say is he declined a lot, and he is also shooting a terrible 35% from the field. It's crazy how much his Achilles tear affected him. And now we move on to June 10th, 2019. Kevin Durant would be facing the worst injury of his entire NBA career.
Ibaka trying to stay with Durant, knocks it away, and Durant's limping. Durant goes down holding his leg. Ibaka goes up and is fouled down the other end. And Durant grabbing that right leg. It's the right calf that put him out. And his teammates going over to check on him.
This injury was terrible because normally a player tears just the bottom area of their Achilles if they do tear their Achilles. But Kevin Durant tore his whole calf. Look at this! That looks so painful. And his recovery took nearly 3 times as long as the regular time to recover from an Achilles tear. Because he tore his entire calf! Everyone thought KD would never be the same player, and they thought his career would be over. Boy, were they wrong. Right now, he is averaging 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists to go along with 1 steal and 1.4 blocks. KD is a top 3 player in the NBA. He is shooting 53% from the field and 45% from 3. His numbers are absurd. And if he wins the championship with the Nets, wins the regular season MVP, and the finals MVP, he would have the best season in NBA history by a mile. But now that we have looked at all the players who have torn their Achilles, or at least the notable Achilles tears, let's discuss why an Achilles tear is so bad. Your Achilles attaches your calf to your heel, aka without an Achilles, you can't walk, run, jump, or do anything that involves movement on your feet. What makes matters even worse is that your Achilles tendon is the largest tendon in your body. Experts say that an Achilles tear feels like you got kicked in the back of your heel, and it is hard to walk, which I imagine must feel absolutely terrible. If you look at images of a torn Achilles, it looks super painful. Even though these are animated, I could feel the Achilles tear happening. No, I can't. What am I saying? It just looks painful. Achilles tears take a long time to recover. Imagine playing basketball, but you haven't played in over a year, so you're super rusty. But the most important part of your body to make you move feels very awkward. So it's going to be really hard to move, and you're rusty. So that's why it's so terrible. Make sure to subscribe. We're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2021. We're at the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed. I'm Vrunnn, and that's my take. Peace.